And here with us are Amanda and Susan, Residency Artists in full-time hardcore job.
Where's this going?
God knows.
I'm Amanda Wieczorek.
I'm Susanna Bolton.
I guess originally I'm from Detroit, Michigan, but I'm living in London now. I'm getting my MA at the Royal College of Art.
I'm also studying in London on the BA drawing course at Camberwell College of Arts. I'm originally from the northwest of Scotland. I was looking through residencies in Iceland when I came across the HERE website, and I did some research into the village and the location. And it's very remote, and there's a strong sense of it being in a very natural place away from the city, which is something that I'm interested in, how people deal with, like how people react to that situation. So I specifically wanted to come here for that.
It's quite interesting because, like, you told me that you're almost neighbors in London.
Yes.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
But you never met until you came here.
No.
Yeah. So what brought you here then?
What brought me here was mostly, I guess, kind of what started it is printmaking has always been the catalyst for my work. And when I basically applied to the Royal College with some etchings that I had done because that's what I had been doing for years. And one of my colleagues came up to me after a presentation I gave and she said, "Your prints remind me of an Icelandic landscape." And I think that right there was kind of like, well, I need to go to Iceland. So I was looking through residencies in Iceland on a residency website. And I came across this one, and why this one stuck out mostly is because currently been looking a lot into minerals. And so because Petra's stone collection is just down the way, and this place is really unique because it used to be an old fish factory and basically everything's upcycled and reused, and so I thought it would be a good way to it'd be a good base to start a project here, I suppose.
How has it been for you? You two of you have been living together now in this.
It's been really nice, actually. I think we gelled quite well, and also there's some overlaps within our artwork and what we've been working in, like the mineral thing, because I've had sort of an interest in geology as well. So there's kind of bits that we've been able to connect over in terms of artwork, which is really nice.
Yeah.
It's just completely serendipitous to be both here at the same time.
Yeah, it's a good coincidence.
Yes, absolutely.
You staying here working, how does that get influence from being in the fish factory and like interacting with the people who are here and what's happening? Like, do you feel it has brought you anything particular, or is it just like good parties?
I think it's partially really inspiring to see everybody working so much, because like Stenek and Rosa and you and Björki and Vinny and everybody's in here a lot and working on their projects, even like personal ones, and working on the factory and improving everything. So that's been really nice to be a part of, and I think you can kind of feel welcome quite quickly as well. And also it's great being here in the sense that there's so much opportunity to find things.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of going through all of the things that were left here or things that have been found and then reappropriating it into your project, which is what I did. That was really good and probably something I'm obviously going to take back with me.
So you like stuff like us?
Yeah. Skip surfing trips.
Yeah.
They're fun, and there's things that I completely wasn't planning on making, because I mean, I brought the large roll of paper because I knew that I kind of had something in my head along those lines of something detailed but large. But a lot of the other things have kind of just come around from being here, like the collages on the grids, because the fish, the chicken wire just kind of stuck with all these grids and repeating things, and you were looking through things and found some things, and then it's like bring it together and incorporate it into what you're doing, which is I think that's one of the nice things about residencies, because you come to a place and you have to bring some things with you, materials you think you might want to use, but at the end of the day you don't really know what you're going to make. And so having a place that's got so much just kind of hoarded things that you might possibly want to use is really nice, because you can kind of adapt everything that you're doing.
Yeah, I would totally recommend it. We talk about it all the time. I mean, because we want to take basically what we've done here and bring it into London, have like an exhibition and try to get people to basically apply, because I think it's something that would not just improve them on an individual level, but it would help the whole program. I mean, I think it's something that more people need to see, you know? I mean, we're really lucky. I feel really lucky that we kind of came at the same time and everything has sort of worked out in a really nice way. And
but I think also because it's not that easy to come across something like this, really. You have to go through, I mean, the residency websites with this big directory, and you're just scrolling and you just, think, well, see what this one looks like. Whereas if we can actually tell people personally what an experience we've had here and have an exhibition of the work and promote the place, then, it's something that's much more it will connect to people and speak to people, and this is appealing for so many different reasons, for so many different practices. One of the nice things is this is quite open-ended in that, well, we didn't need to put on an exhibition, but we felt like if we want to do it in London to promote the place, it might be, nice to kind of see how we can curate things together. And also it's nice because, we can also invite the public in to see the project, because hopefully the exhibition will bring some people in to look around and see the factory that maybe people who haven't been in a while, or tourists who are passing through. So I think it's kind
You
of
also have
can
good
connect.
space to play around,
yeah.
to fuck around with the space.
Yeah.
I can't put that in the video. Fuck around with the space.
It's good because you can play around with the space. Please. But no, it's true. I mean, there's loads of space in here, and it tidies up well.
So, ladies, was there anything that you feel like that you want to say more, or like for yourself? Like, I will also send you a copy of this. Just it's nice to have a moment in time. Yeah, I have to be here. So you don't look there.
Video at the side of our faces.
Yeah.
I don't know. Other than just, thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's been great, seriously.
Thank you. It's been really nice to hear you too. It's been we all enjoy.
Yeah. So I found these metal grids in one of the back rooms of Ordered Things in the fish factory, and so I've made some collages on them with things lining up, and also this one has some text about an eruption, so it connects with some of the geological interests within the exhibition.
This is about Surtsey, I think. Yeah. Okay, nice.
That was the formation of the island, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that eruption.
Yeah.
For a while I was going to do a project where I wanted to celebrate my 21st birthday with an island that had appeared in the same year that I was born. But obviously one doesn't actually exist, but so I did a lot of research into new islands forming, so this was quite a nice reminder of that.
Yeah, okay. And what about this big drawing on the wall here?
This one here is a drawing of some mesh that I took out to the hillside behind the factory and sort of pressed it and molded to the shape of the landscape, and then it's flipped, so it's an inside-out map. So it's sort of trying to create a virtual reality of a map of what you would see if you were the hillside looking out. So it's an experience you could never have as a person, but trying to create some experience of a place or a viewpoint that isn't real. I've made some books while I was here of impressions that I had of the place, and sort of details to notice, including photographs and collages that were made while I was here. And it's because I'm interested in what makes people notice details, what stands out to a single person within something, what people observe, and how they translate that experience back. So when you notice like reoccurring shapes in things, or particular colours, or like the perpetual fog that we've had, which I think is actually mostly cloud from the eruption, which has been slightly unnerving. But so I made this book of a kind of a collection of my impressions and interpretations of the place.
Okay. Does that have a title?
Somewhere I Do Not Know.
Does that sum up like what you've been doing here?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
of
okay.
unknown places and unreal places, but also coming to a place that I don't personally know and seeing what things I take away from a new area. I find it funny when people talk about natural places, and Iceland's always been perceived as a very natural country, which is amusing because you come here and actually it's completely civilized. You know, there's pylons running across all of the hillsides. You can always see traces of people. There's always roads. There's always someone else who's been around. And so I find it kind of amusing, I would say, actually, to come somewhere that's so, you know, idolized, and actually realize that there's so much community here, there's so much civilization, that it is quite surreal trying to sort of remember that this is considered remote when there's so much going on. I suppose you're also hyper aware of the nature somewhere like here though, because in a city you're maybe slightly distanced from it. You know, there are hills that are in the background, whereas here you kind of have to go up and around them just to get to the next village. And so it's not so much that it's more natural, but you're just more aware of the nature that is around you.
Bravo,
Does
bellissimo.
that make sense?
Ja.
Okay, so basically when I first got here, the first 3 days I spent time walking the distance of the fjord, picking up stones. So I had piles and piles of stones, and basically what I did is I kind of narrowed it down to 180 stones, because that's 180 degrees horizon line. And but I became really interested in particular with the Icelandic spar. How do you say it again in Icelandic?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. So I became interested in it because it was said that the Vikings had used it to it was called the sunstone. So they would use it to sort of navigate through, you know, the fog and the clouds and everything like that. So I then was really interested in kind of creating objects, like navigational instruments to navigate, you know, the cosmos, or maybe a place that we can't actually see. But then what ended up happening is because there are so many materials in this space that I suppose my practice recently has been about creating objects from hand. So my previous project was I made a bunch of my own stones with clay and etching, so it looked sort of like archaeological finds, and I've been archiving them. And so then this, I think, is another form of archive. Maybe just playing with display and sort of not tricking the mind, but making something convincing that someone can connect things even if it doesn't really make any sense. Like, I'm not a scientist, but I am interested in the relationship between art and science and sort of where they overlap sometimes. So yeah, so I was collecting things around the factory and playing with maps and sort of navigational instruments to sort of create a space that is evident of some sort of you know, scientific exploration maybe. So ideally I'd like to take a nice photograph of this and edit it down, and then that would be a piece in itself. Because I think this is not the finished piece. I think along with the stones I had been making, I want to create a catalog of archive material. I've been reading a lot on the archive and memory, and sort of what has come first. Is it so much that what is our memory? Is it history? Does it have things to do with science? So I'm interested in the archive. So I've been archiving my projects and making that will be one big piece eventually. So in the way that people go through archives, they're basically, they're going through someone's displayed, it's things set in boxes very particularly, or you know, it comes from someone's perspective. So it's really interesting how someone lives with archives. I mean, when you think about an archive, it's a bunch of files down in the basement somewhere and someone's sitting there with a bunch of dust and a bunch of boxes looking through the past. So I think that is kind of where my interest is yeah, kind of making up these fictional stories and archiving them and making them, present them as if they were real. So I suppose that's where the project's going right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.